Ladies and gentlemen, that was the press conference that was held by the Higher Electoral Committee, and this takes us to the second segment of tonight's show, which will be the elections, the parliamentary elections. Today marks the first day of the runoff of the first phase of the parliamentary elections here. The second day for the expats abroad, and joining us here in the studio to shed more light on this issue is Dr. Ihab Ammar, the political analyst. Dr. Ammar, thank you very much for joining us. Before we start our discussion with Dr. Ammar, ladies and gentlemen, let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
The runoff of the first phase of the parliamentary elections are taking place in 14 governorates on Tuesday and Wednesday in Egypt. More than 55 million Egyptians are eligible to elect 448 candidates for individual seats and 120 for lists. Around 5,420 candidates are running for the parliamentary seat in the two. Voters choose candidates to represent their districts in those governorates. Meanwhile, Egyptian embassies and consulates in 139 countries opened their doors on Monday and Tuesday to receive expats wishing to cast their ballots in the runoffs of the first phase of the parliamentary elections. Polls remain open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. according to each country's local. Electoral silence began at noon on Sunday, during which candidates' electioneering campaigns was banned until the runoff phase kicked off abroad and in Egypt. The runoff phase will be carried out as only 4 out of 226 individual candidates were secured in the first round voting. This week, 30,531 Egyptian expats cast their votes in the elections. Al-Wafd Party, which has a long history in Egyptian politics dating back to the early 20th century, is contesting in the runoffs with over 30 candidates, while a single candidate from the leftist At-Tagamma Party was able to qualify for the runoffs. The liberal-leaning Free Egyptians Party may be among the exceptions, with over 50% of its individual candidates in the first phase qualifying for runoffs. The party had fielded 112 candidates for individual seats, of whom 65 will get a second chance in the runoff. Second stage of the parliamentary elections, when voters from the remaining 13 governorates will cast their ballots, will take place on the 21st and 22nd of November for Egyptians abroad, and 22nd and 23rd of November for voters at home. The second final phase of the polls will be held in 13 of Egypt's 27 governorates, including Cairo. The For Love of Egypt alliance has already won unopposed the 15 seats allocated for the party-based slates in Eastern Delta region, after other parties failed to field candidates. Eligible expatriates are more than 680,000, according to previously announced figures for previous presidential and parliamentary elections. According to the Egyptian Foreign Ministry statistics, there are more than 8 million Egyptian expatriates abroad. The parliament election, voters have to sign 2 ballots, one for the electoral lists and the other for candidates, in which they have to mark 2. The presence of a wrong name in the ballot nulls votes for the other eligible candidates, according to the complaints. Parliament, the House of Representatives, will be comprised of 596 members, 448 elected as independents and 120 from party-based lists. The remaining seats will be filled by presidential appointees. The country has been without a parliament since the previous House, elected late 2011, was dissolved in June 2012 after a court ruled electoral laws unconstitutional.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, joined by Dr. Ihab Ammar, the political Ammar. First off, the second day for Egyptian expats to be voting for the runoff of the first phase of the parliamentary elections, the first day here in Egypt. According to what you saw in the first round of the first phase, what are your expectations regarding the runoff phase of the first round?
Well, I think the people didn't went to elect because of a lot of reasons. It is very weak to give people the opportunity to elect in new rules, new laws of elections. The electing zone is very wide, very big. People get mixed up. They are confused. That's why people haven't went really strongly to this election. Other reason, I think people found someone who they trust and they have enough with him. I think Egyptian people now are convinced that they are good enough with the president. Because experience, the parliament haven't went that well for long ages. So now they are after the president. They are just behind the president. And the thing, because of the constitution, that the parliament will hold the president of moving. So they didn't want that.
Yes.
Maybe there's the reasons, some of it,
Yes.
why the people haven't went that strongly as we expected to the election.
Yes.
I believe it was not what we expected again. Maybe tomorrow, like what happened in the first round. The first day was very weak. The second day went a little bit better. So I believe it is going to be a little bit, yes, a little bit better.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes. Well, Dr. Ammar, a lot of people say that the low turnout for the first round was also due to the lack of knowledge about the candidates.
Right.
People didn't know enough about the candidates. Maybe one or two really famous candidates under the spotlight. However, during the parliamentary elections, people managed to know much more about the candidates, and people were able to identify with some of the candidates, and that's why a lot of people, there was high turnout during the previous parliamentary elections. Are people suffering from a lack of knowledge this time around?
I think the people who are offering themselves to the service, to the public service, and working on a team, one team, they were very busy to solve their internal problems inside that team, more than talking to the people or to present themselves to the people. They were not really in the streets. They were not with the people. They were just concentrating on how to own internal problems together. The media haven't shown the population who are those people. The candidates never themselves directly. They're still working on the old system. I think some new things have to go on. The new laws of election has to be a little bit easier, because culture as Egyptians, we are not really taught how to go and elect and use our rights. And we, maybe majority of Egyptians for ages understood that, well, maybe the parliament will not do anything to so they give away the rights. I believe that when they see and they witness a real work on ground, that this parliament is working for the rights and standing to this country, I think that will make a little bit different later on.
Well, Dr. Ammar, a lot of people are also, a lot of analysts and observers are looking at the performance of the Egyptian expats in their voting, much better than Egyptians here locally. A lot of people are praising how much of the Egyptian expats are actually participating in the polling stations and in the voting process. How do you explain this eagerness by the Egyptian expats as opposed to a lower here in Egypt?
When you are living abroad, you learn more things. If you live in Europe, for example, which has a very old parliament life, and is very important, then you learn that this parliament is very important. And you know that you have to use your rights, because it is your rights.
Yes.
Choose whoever you want. Bad, good, it is your own choice. No one is forcing you. But inside Egypt, people are busy with other things. And they can see the candidates, so they don't know them. So I think we need to work on teaching the new coming generations how to use the rights, how to choose. And we also need to teach the candidates how they offer themselves, present themselves, because they don't know how to market themselves. They don't make any effort to convince. Some of them, they are talking about services. I will going to give you some jobs. I'm going to make new roads. And I think that's not the real job of the parliament member. You have to tell them the truth, that you are going to work on good laws, new good laws. We are going to make new work laws, or health laws, or education laws. But don't talk to them about services that you cannot offer them, because they will not trust you anymore, and then they will not trust the whole parliament.
Yes.
The whole procedure won't be trusted. So talk to the people, tell them the truth. What is your job description? Just to them. Don't promise them things that you don't have or you're not going to do.
Yes. Dr. Ammar, let's look at some of the results that took place from the first round of the first phase. Now, there was a huge majority for the alliance For the Love of Egypt that included several political parties such as the Free Egyptians Party and Al-Wafd Party. First off, what are the main reasons for this sort of sweep or the majority win according to the first round by this specific alliance? And do you feel that if they do have this, prove this majority up until they reach the parliament, do you feel that they will still have a merger, this bloc will have a merger, or do you think they will go their different ways?
No, I think they will go. They will go the same majority, because I believe that on top of this list, Mr. Samir General Samir Yazal, he's a very respectful man. He have an intelligence background. Egyptian people, after what they have sown for the last few years, now they trust two things, either the army or the intelligence. And Mr. Samah is coming from the intelligence, so I think they trust this line because of that. What we need now, what we really need now, for tomorrow, the second day, that people try to use their power to elect the best. Who they will elect, that's up to every one of us. But they have to participate. Because this parliament, the coming parliament, it has a lot of duties, like confirming the new laws, confirming the economical agreements. It is important, and we need it. On the other hand, we have to admit that our political culture, we don't have to get a high expectations for it. We need, as I told you before, we need to start to teach the coming generations how to participate in the political life. Yes. But yes, for your question, I think that the majority will still go to the lover of Egypt because of the reason I told you. Plus, there is some other small reasons that, like, people are against the religious line at all. They don't want it. That's a real refusal, and I don't see any chance for any religious line anymore. One thing that I want to say, because I hear that so people are connecting that the law participating in the parliament election with the president publicity. I see no connection, actually. I see no connection at all. I mean, the President Sisi was the very first one who can move this population, the Egyptians, If he asks in the streets next day, if he wants them next day, maybe in the same day if he wants, that's because of him. But when he asked them to go and elect the members of the parliament, up to every one of us. It has nothing to do with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And I am sure that if he needs the people, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, the president of Egypt, needs the Egyptian people to come out to the streets, in 6 hours, there will be millions in the streets. And we tried that before. That's not hopes or wishes or whatever, but it's experience.
Yes.
We have witnesses that not once, I think 3-4 times.
Yes. Well, you've mentioned the political parties with religious backgrounds.
Yes.
Which takes us directly to a Noor party.
Yes.
Now, a Noor party yielded about 22 seats in the 2012 parliament.
Yes.
However, this time they couldn't secure one single seat, despite them fielding about 90 candidates in one electoral list in Delta. How do you explain this?
People don't trust the religious political parties. They knew for sure that heaven and hell got nothing to do with politics. People understood that very well. Stop using God in the political talks. Give the people plans, talk politics, then maybe have a chance. But as long as they are using the religious emotions against the people to get their own political benefits, that's refused. And now the people said this clearly to everyone, directly to the Noor party. They don't elect any one of them, or I don't know if they passed one or two, but it was clear. The message was sent clear, only to the Noor party, but to anyone would use politics or religion in political files.
Yes.
In any way.
Yes. Well, head of the Salafist Noor party, Yunus Makhoun, described actually this parliamentary elections as the worst in the history of the Egyptian parliament, especially after the party lost in Alexandria, which is the birthplace and the power base of the political party. Do you expect the Noor party to withdraw from the parliamentary elections, or do you think that they will keep on going?
Withdraw? Are the I mean, you need to be exist to withdraw. That's the first thing. Second, yes, it is the worst for them, not for us, not for Egyptians. Maybe it is the worst for the Noor party because they haven't got what they dreamed of, because they haven't worked right. I mean, supporting the president by talks is not the whole issue. You have to show me your support to this country, to the population, and to the president on ground. But talking about supporting the president, our road plan, and then on the ground you are doing something different. You're still using the same thing. You're still using God in the middle. You're still using Islam as a religion in the middle. This is not possible anymore. It is not used. This is a fact. Believe it, they are welcome. If they don't want to believe it, they will lose everything, even their own party. And that will happen soon. If they don't fix their own mentality and start a new direction that they can offer to they have to present themselves to the Egyptians. I mean, we don't trust them. Myself, and you know, we have meetings before in very sensitive period of our history, and they have been supporting the MB, the Brotherhood, the Muslim Brotherhood. They have been supporting them in full power. Now it turned 180 degrees. Now you are on our side. Okay, I am ready to accept that, but you have to prove it.
Yes.
not say it.
Yes. Dr. Ammar, a lot of observers are actually concerned of the presence, the lack of youth and women in these candidates, and they're feeling that they might not have the representation that they've aspired for, especially that the youth played one of the biggest roles in history over the past few years. Now, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi will be appointing 28 seats in the parliament. Do you expect the president, if he sees that there's no real representation of women and youth in the parliament, do you expect to include women and youth in these 28 seats?
First, let me say that I really respect Egyptian women for their very positive acting in every action we have in Egypt.
Definitely.
And yes, women have participated in this election too. And I believe they are not less than 60% from who elected this election. And I really respect them so much. I see them like very patriots, citizens.
Definitely.
Very positive. Youth is the main problem. The major problem we have is about youth. We have to know that the battle between us, Egypt, and the enemies of Egypt, whoever they are, is about youth. Who takes the youth on his side, he wins the war. I believe that up to this day, the Youth and Sport Ministry is not doing enough. I believe that they have to work in a new ideology, new techniques to take our youth back. It is easy to put them in jail. It is easy to stop them doing anything. But still, we need our youth, we need our kids, we need our power. We can take back our kids, our youth, back to our side. So that's what we need at the moment. And I hope that Minister Khaled Abdelaziz will find a way how to really get this done. About the choices of president, I hope he choose some of the youth, women of course, but women, I believe they will be good presented in this parliament. But yes, we need some more. But I hope these choices won't be based on who do we like or who do we feel good about it. But I need real choice for Egypt, not for any other reason. We need powerful people, people who believe that if we are working free without any for Egypt, then you have to work hard and seriously. We need fighters in this period. If you need to build your country, you need fighters. Fighters not to is to build.
Yes.
Is to grow trees. Is to make education. Everything. It's a fight.
Yes.
We need to fight to build. We have fought before to keep Egypt in one piece. Now it's our turn to fight again to build Egypt.
Yes.
And I hope the president himself, without listening to anyone, choose those members. Because from his previous experience, he was the head of the military intelligence. I believe that he have every file possible. He knows a lot of people. He knows what is good for Egypt. I hope this time he chooses them without listening to anyone.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but that's what I have to say to the president I support.
Yes. Well, we're just guessing and speculating. Do you think that the president already and he knows exactly the 28 names that he will appoint in the parliament, or do you think that he will still wait for the results and he's going to try and balance things out?
I hope you trust me if I tell you that I don't have his phone number, so I don't know.
You're just guessing.
I think he do. I think at least he have an idea. He have, I think he have something in mind. Yes. See, some people maybe he put, you know, some names in front of him. He will make his own choice. Yes, I believe, because I trust in Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Something I have no doubt about it. He will choose the best.
Dr. Ammar, now the first phase witnessed relatively low turnout. Now, do you feel that for the second phase, at least, I'm not talking about even tomorrow, the second day of the runoff, but the second phase of elections in general, do you feel that it will witness higher turnout, especially that it will be dealing with the governorate of Cairo, because people have witnessed the low turnout in the first phase, so they will be encouraged to actually make amends and change how things are going? Or do you think that people will witness the low turnout and be discouraged by it and still have a low turnout for the second phase?
In this period, everyone has to know that we have no time to try. We have time only to work, real work. Who won't work seriously and take it seriously, I believe this will be discarded at once. And I wish to give the parliament, before it starts, one advice. They have to put it in mind, every member. This population have decided to go with Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Don't ever to slow his steps. Don't ever think to stop our movements for an advanced country, because then the people will not wait or watch you without doing nothing. They will still behind the president. The parliament, it's very important, but we tried and witnessed what means a country without a president. Now we have a president who loves the country, respect his population, work hard, and people will not sacrifice that for no one. Not for the parliament, not for the government, not to anyone.
Yes.
Not even to the whoever they think it of whatever they have in mind abroad, out of our borders. We have to know that there is the majority, the maximum majority of the Egyptians are very relaxed, very convinced with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. I'm not marketing to the president. He has his own publicity. He doesn't need my words, but I'm just putting facts on ground in front of them. Maybe they can hear us.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, definitely on that note, we should be very hopeful that the second round of the second phase of the parliamentary elections witness a higher turnout than the first phase, and hopefully tomorrow, the second day of the runoff of the first phase, will witness more turnout. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank our very distinguished guest, Dr. Ihab Ammar, the political analyst. Dr. Ammar, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Hani Saif. Thank you for joining us.